Well, let's go for the good news first. Baseball opens this week at UNLV. Just want to help Fred out since he's been with me a long time. So get fired up, Michigan State at UNLV. Get excited about it, Fred. And I want to congratulate our gymnastics team that went over Illinois and be ranked in the top 20, ranked 14th. I think that is a big deal. They don't get enough recognition, and so I'm happy for them with Leah Johnson on board as our new volleyball coach. I miss Kathy, but gotten to know Leah a little bit on the phone and in person once, and so I think we're off to a good start there. So I think we're making some progress here as far as Ellen Heller goes, and we made a little progress on the floor as far as Tom Izzo and the basketball team go. So on Saturday, after watching over again, it wasn't the prettiest, but it was one of the grittiest, and I was pleased with both AJ and Tyson, adjusting to coming off the bench for Tyson, starting for AJ. They did some good things together. It's still the balance now. We got to get better balance between scoring. We got four great shooters, Malik, Joey, Gabe, and of course Max, and getting them shots has got to be a priority on my list, especially Gabe and Max. I think we've had our moments when they've shot, and our point guards haven't really gotten them shots. And Tyson is ranked now in the nation as far as his assists. He's really with an 8-1 this past weekend, and he was at a 28-7 at one point. You're talking about 35, 36 assists, maybe 7 or 8 turnovers is phenomenal. But getting people the ball at the right time, I think is something that I'm really concerned with, that I want to improve on. We didn't shoot it great because I don't think we're getting enough inside-out shots, but I think we'll do a better job here in the near future because we've had a chance to address it. As far as Penn State, it seems like an eternity since we played them. I haven't seen them in a long time. It's been over 2 months, I believe. And I think Mike has done an unbelievable job with this team, but they got some good players. The guys that have played 3-4 years at Penn State, with Dredd being, one of them. Sessoms is, but the Pickett kid is been playing a lot lately. Boy, he's averaging 38, 39 minutes a game, I think, in the league, or at least in the last 5. They run a lot of good stuff. They're very solid defensively. They too have had problems at times scoring the ball, but they make up for it with their defense. And even though they've lost the last 3 games, 6 of the last 7, if you look at the scores, it's a 1 or 2 point game to Michigan. It's a 1 or 2 point game to Illinois. They've had some Wisconsin. They've had some very tough games that have gone right down to the wire. But their options with Lundy and Pickett and Sessoms and Dredd are very good. 3 of them can really shoot the ball from range. And probably the improvement of the team is Herrera inside is averaging 4.5 offensive rebounds a game, which is phenomenal. It's not good, it's great. I've never heard of one that high, even from the guys from Purdue and that. So, quick turnaround. We're looking forward to getting on the plane tonight and going up there and trying to find some consistency, which has been hard, not only for us, but in this league. Looking at the scores yesterday and the way those games went, there could have been 2 of our top teams almost lost to the 2 last place teams. It was an unbelievable day of basketball. Question?
Tom, speaking of consistency, this is you played a number of teams the second time through, and that has been a place where the consistency has been there. Minnesota really good on the road, not as much here. Northwestern, the same. Wisconsin, obviously. And I'm wondering, is that something you'll address? And is that sort of a test for this team when you've beaten somebody and you can to still play with that edge?
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot lately. We talked about playing good and then bouncing back, whether it's for the second time or not. it seems like a lot of people have had trouble, including us, of playing a good game, then not playing as well. And it frustrates me, it frustrates my staff. I'm sure it frustrates the players, but this will be a good opportunity to see if we can turn that around and play pretty good at home. I don't look at when we play them, I don't think anybody looks at them as the same team, but sometimes you do look at records. And if you look at the games they played or you watch film on them, those records mean nothing. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see if we're maturing, if we can do a better job of consistently staying consistent.
Tom, I know you talk about consistency a lot. We've heard that word quite a bit this season from you. But as far as, or in terms of identity, what is the identity of this team, and have they struggled to really kind of find one and lock in on it?
Yeah. As I said, I'm not trying to make excuses. I think everybody has. I've never seen a season like this. When I look at UCLA, I look at teams, even Baylor, teams that we played or that I respect a lot for one reason, it's your defense, your identity, it's your rebounding. It's our identity. We're one hell of a free throw shooting team. I mean, we are, and we can get fouled, we're in business. We've really shot well from the line. I still think our defense is our identity. I still think our running game is, because it had been for most of the season. The last 5 or 6 games, I think, it's left us a little bit, and that's what we're trying to recapture. Identity has to be our defense, but at the same time, it hasn't consistently been, and that's what we're trying to get back.
Tom, you talked about gritty, not pretty, that win over Indiana over the weekend. Did you maybe kind of notice an increase in your players' mental toughness on the floor? And moving forward, how do you kind of find that happy medium of the mental toughness while also not having that turn into disciplinary issues?
Yeah, I wish I knew more on some of what happened. Both ways. I mean, I think both teams played a lot more physical. I thought our fans were more physical. I thought our coaches were more physical. I thought we did some good things in that respect. But I'm not into trash talking. I'm not into all that crap. And so yeah, there's a happy medium with everything. It's like you guys asked me last week, how do you get tougher? How do you get in better shape when you're supposed to be winding down? All those things are issues. And I addressed it with my team, And AJ's second one, I'd give my right and left arm to either have a mic on him or see it, because I did not see what transpired or what was allegedly. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't see that. And if we're to that point, it's like celebrations in football. Let's not try to have a game that's exciting and fans can get into it, players get into it. Demeaning somebody or showing somebody up will not be tolerated by me either. But the heat of the battle, there's things that are going to happen, and I wish I knew. I probably should talk to Mike and see if he can lend some things to me. But there was a lot of trash talk in both ways, and we're not going to settle for that either.
The team found a lot of success in the first matchup against Penn State. In transition, do you see tomorrow as an opportunity to try to get the transition offense rolling again, or do you think Penn State's kind of made those adjustments to short?
Well, I think they've made some adjustments. That's why teams aren't scoring a lot of points against them either. And I think Mike has done a good job of, now he's been through the league. Not that he hadn't been involved in the league before, but he's been through the league and he has a better understanding. But it was so long ago, 2.5 months, I just don't know what you get out of thinking, have we changed? Can we do this? Is that a team we can do that against? They're playing some different guys, a little more minutes than they were. So I hope we can get our running game going, but I don't think it has anything to do with Penn State as far as, because we did it against them last time. It was just too long ago, and they're too different now, and we're different now, to be honest with you.
Don't want to pick on a freshman, but Max Christie spoiled us with the way he came out of the gate. We played the Bahamas first 10, 12 games. Has he hit the freshman wall? Or I know how much you like this game, but does that happen, or are they defending him differently, or why isn't he quite as effective as he was?
Well, I think part of it is us. And I've addressed my point guards with it, I've addressed my staff with it, and I've looked in the mirror. Just met with Max today. I mean, Max has done everything I've asked him to do. Has he hit a wall a little bit? 100%. Because he came off Christmas, got COVID, lost a little weight for a guy that doesn't need to lose any weight. Was playing an exorbitant amount of minutes, I think more than any freshman that I know in a long time. And I think, we ask him to do a lot defensively. I think it's hurt a little bit, but he's not running that lane as hard. I think teams are guarding him different. If you watch the Indiana game, wherever he was, they had a guy on him. So he's got to adjust a little bit, but I think we got to adjust a lot. He's got to get shots, and we've got to do a better job of getting him shots. He's one of our best shooters. We've tried to do some things where we take him off ball screens. We'll continue to do that. He does some of it good. He misses out some things there too because he hasn't done it enough. But for a freshman to be playing the amount of minutes he has to do as good a job defensively as he has, we need to reward him and almost thank him and get him some more shots. So him and Gabe, that is going to be a factor here moving forward. Have to get more opportunities and be some on them. How do they come off ball screens? Are they coming out tight? Are they setting their ball up good? Are they getting to the offensive glass and getting some opportunities there? Max is getting to the free throw line. That's been encouraging. But I'd say it's been a little bit of hitting a wall. I'd say it's been a little bit of now he's on the front of the scouting report instead on the second page, and I think it's a little bit of us, meaning me, my staff, and my quarterbacks. We got to do a better job for both those guys.
Tom, if you look at some of AJ's numbers, the advanced points as far as assists per minute, assists per made basket, he's pretty off the charts in some of that stuff. But did you see that, potential for him when you scouted him, and how have you seen him kind of grow in his ball movement there?
Well, now he's got to figure out when does he take it too deep, when does he finish, when is he taking a shot, when is he kicking it out. Because he has done a good job of that the last 5 or 6 games, and that's what we hope to build on. To be very honest with you, it's coming off now and being able to spray the ball a little bit more. Get Max and Gabe involved a little bit, get our break going a little bit more. We're not pushing it with the same tenacity we were, and part of that is we're not defending quite as well, so we're not rebounding quite as well, so we're not running quite as well. So, like everything else, we're trying to put it all together. And for a while, we had our 4 men playing off the charts, and we got to get Mark back in there. We tried to go to him early in the game the other day, and then he gets in severe foul trouble along with Gabe. And then our wings were really good early, and then people start taking them away, and so we have to adjust on the fly too. But I think he's got to adjust. He thinks he can beat anybody anytime, and he can. A lot of times to get in there, it's what he does when he's in there now, and he's turning it over a lot less. He's playing some of his better basketball. If we can, get him guarding on the ball, he's very good. Off the ball, we've got to make some improvements. But I'm pleased with the direction he's going.
Time for a couple more. Okay.
You mentioned a few games ago, and they've been up and down since with the 2-point guards playing the idea of trying to play them together here and there, and you've done that in stretches. And I'm wondering, when they have a game like that, and if you see it repeatedly, will you revisit that a little bit in terms of their different skill sets and what they can bring?
Well, when Tyson's shooting the ball like he did last game, but other than that, to be very honest with you, I'm starting to appreciate Jaden Akins a little bit more, and I'm starting to appreciate Pierre Brooks. Pierre Brooks is making some progress. Again, process been a little slower, but he's hung in there and he's starting to make some progress. And so I don't know how much they'll play together. It could be some, But at the same time, I like the way all my perimeter guys are starting to come about. I just think we need to get those two guys more opportunities. And yet we kind of laugh because Jaden finds a way to get open and get shots. So I don't know if he's, his cuts are really good. And I think if I could take a few minutes off Max, it would probably help. And I don't want Gabe playing 13 minutes a game because he was in foul trouble. But if we get those guys down in the high 20s or early 30s and then get those other guys some, and if it works out that it's 2 point guards in there, it could work out. But remember, this was one of the first games that Tyson shot like he did. If that continues, it could be a lot of options.
Tom, 3 of the 6 remaining games you have are against top 5 Big Ten teams. Can you kind of quantify where you want your team to be as you play those and go down the stretch here? Are you guys, do you see yourself trending in the right direction? I know you're always big about March and the importance of playing the games to get to March, but with all of these big games right here in front of you, is this kind of a golden opportunity for you guys to really kind of grab the baton?
Well, it is. But I said that in January, when our schedule was the opposite. I tried to warn everybody that like I said, if you knew how much respect I had for some of those teams, Northwestern, I think they do an unbelievable job, okay? But, we played the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th teams in those first 9 games, and then when they canceled the Michigan one, it really threw things off balance a little bit. And I tried to let everybody know without making excuses that the schedule was backwards in a little bit. Really heavily. And what I got to make sure of, we have a good team. A good team doesn't necessarily beat some of those teams. Last year we came on at the end, our backs were against the wall. Some of those teams, it was COVID year, some of those teams that are, the championship had already been won. You beat a Michigan, Ohio State, and Illinois down the stretch. But Illinois and Purdue are really, really, really good teams. Okay, we got both them at home. They're top 5 in the country teams. Illinois had all those injuries and losses early. They're everybody's top. They got as good a chance to get to a Final Four as anybody. Ohio State is proving that, they too had some injuries early. They are a very good team. We play them on the road. And the X Factor games are games like Penn State, games like at Iowa. It's, we act like Iowa. Iowa's got, I think, the leading scorer in the nation, don't they? And they turn you over. They got a guy that's in Brandon that's been there since Judd started. So they got a lot of veterans. They've got some older transfers. There's not one easy game left. Now you're going to say, well, that's coach speak. It's not coach speak. It's the way it is right now. And what I got to make sure is if we get on a winning streak, we keep our head on, and if we get on a losing streak, we keep our head on. The goal is we're in the hunt. We have to accomplish some big things to be in the hunt, or to stay in the hunt, I should say. But we could play our tail off and lose 3 of those games without even trying, and we could win them. So I'm trying to be as realistic as I can and realize that this team has gone through what I call a little bit of a slump. We're trying to find each other. I keep saying it, I think it's happening all over, and it's frustrating to people. It's helped my rebounders, it's frustrating too. Those are supposed to be my most loyal fans. My family, it's frustrating too. Sometimes they're my most loyal fans. So I'm just trying to keep a perspective through the second year of COVID, understanding that everybody is a little bit more up and down everywhere, and yet the opportunities you talk about are phenomenal. To be the best, you got to beat the best, and we're going to have a chance to do that. And that's kind of where you want to be at this time of year. You want to be in the hunt, and I guess the ball's in our court, just like it's in Illinois and Purdue's and Wisconsin's and Ohio State's and everybody else that's in this log jam up there. But we got our work cut out. There's no question about that, but we also have opportunities that you die for most years, yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, this isn't really quite a basketball question, but I want to know.
Let's see, what would it be?
I want to know, you stepped up to the podium and you were very congratulatory about everything, the success that's going on at Michigan State right now with other programs. Jake Boss did the same thing. Mel Tucker gave Susie a big bear hug after she beat Michigan. And so I know you want this place to get back to where you think it should be. How is it making that progress in that way with the coaches supporting each other?
That is a good question. And it's an exciting one for me to answer. You know, I think Alan Heller's got to take some credit for that. I think, you know, we all went through hell. God, it was 4 years of hell between everything that's gone on. And, you know, how you come out of it, as they say, you know, do you get up one more time than you're knocked down? And so I take great excitement. You know, I saw Susie's game too, and it was exciting the way they played. They had 3 freshmen that played out of their minds, I thought. You know, I do follow our wrestling program. I know it's been, you know, everybody goes through ups and downs. I mean, it's like volleyball. You know, you happen to be in a conference that's really good. Our hockey, you know, you gotta be in a conference. Our basketball and football, you're in conferences that are really, really good. And so sometimes they're not always gonna be in wins and losses, but I can see the progress we're making, and I like the direction we're heading. And I think the more we stick together in an era where everybody's biting at everybody, the better it is. And so being the elder statesman, I guess, of the Michigan State contingency, I'm proud of what they're doing. I'm excited for them. I love, you know, I follow them all. I mean, I talked to our tennis coach the other day. I love what our men's and women's golf teams have done. I mean, it just, when we're all doing well and we're all pulling for one another, this is a very special place, because so many places, especially in football and basketball, have jealousies. And those that don't admit it, it's there. And here, it's never been. And I think Mel has continued in that. You know, like the 2 guys I got from, I love them. They're disciplined, they work hard. So I think our AD deserves a lot of credit for it. I think we're meshing together, and I think we are pulling for one another, because we all know as coaches how hard these few years have been, and then these last 2 with the COVID has been, it affects kids like you can't believe. It affects adults like you can't believe. And I think we're all talking to one another here and there, trying to figure out how do you get through this. And as there's some light at the end of this tunnel, hopefully we're gonna rise like the Phoenix, and that's what I'm looking forward to, big time. Good question.
Tom, you mentioned a couple of guys you maybe want to see a little bit more, Jaden or Pierre. I'm wondering with this rotation, how many guys you have, how you feel it's gone managing all of that. And I know last year the lack of continuity was kind of a big issue. You feel like you kind of built a little bit more continuity this year?
I do. I think you're right on too. I mean, we played 4 centers and we played 3 point guards. And we've been very different this year in that respect. But working people in as the process grows, as Pierre goes from, you know, we didn't feel like we put him in when he wasn't ready. It wasn't that Jaden was getting a ton of minutes when we thought he wasn't ready. Jaden Akins is going to be a hell of a player here, but what we're learning is Pierre Brooks is too. I mean, I like our future perimeter is going to be really good. Is it going to all get done this year? I don't know, but I think it's hard to play 10 guys, 11 guys, but what is a little easier is if you're playing 2 at each position. You know, everybody needs a backup. And knock on wood, we still have stayed pretty injury free. And very seldom do you go a whole season semi-injury free. So I'm not hoping for it, but I'm This year I planned for COVID problems, I planned for injury problems every year. And I do like the position we're in. I think last year, and I took full responsibility for the rotation of all those guys. But remember, when you coach, I don't go in there in a staff meeting and say, how can we lose tomorrow? You know, what can we do to lose tomorrow? You try to come up with the best game plan and the best things. Now, that takes your coaches and it takes your players. And I'm cool with the coaches always get blamed, but sometimes players don't live up to what they gotta do either. And last year was tough because we didn't have that spring, summer, and fall to, you know, that played a part in it, as it did for a lot of teams. So I like where we are right now. I wish we were a little better defensively. I wish we were a little more, I don't know what the word is. I guess I was a little more efficient offensively. I wish we'd always turn the ball over less. But we are making some progress in doing things the way we need to do them. And now we got to hit the big, you know, consistency word. And I think there's a lot of people searching for that right now, and the Spartans are one of them. But I think we have some pieces. You know, when you look at those 2 point guards, they both give you something. One's a better shooter, one's bigger. One's better on the break, one's better in the half court. When you look inside, I mean, we need to get a lot out of Marcus, but we're getting more out of Julius, and I still think when we play some of these teams coming up, Monty's gonna be, you know, we're trying to get him prepared a little bit. Can you play 10, 11 guys? It's difficult. It's difficult. But the other thing we've had and that I'm really excited about is, I mean, I've never seen two guys. I brought them both in my office together to talk to, benching one, I guess, starting the other, and the chemistry there, they really get along, you know, and Marcus and Julius, great chemistry there. Our perimeter guys, all four of those guys. So that makes it easier. So give the guys credit on that because they are like they are and who they are, it's made it a little easier for us. There's been times as a coach, when you got 6, 7 players that play, it's easiest. Until you have an injury, foul trouble, COVID, you know, girlfriend breaks up with them, whatever the problems are, you know, then it's nice to have the depth. And that depth, you just don't snap your fingers and get it, you build it. And we have done maybe as good a job of building that, even though it took some lumps earlier, took some inconsistent play. I do think we built it, and got to do a little bit better job now with Max, and we'll try to do that.
Here's my weekly non-basketball question. It concerns Frank Beckman. I know he's a Michigan guy, but you had great respect for a couple other Michigan guys, Haley, Bowe, and Lloyd. How well did you know Frank?
Well, I got to know Frank, you know, better and better, and you know, it's been a shame what he's gone through in kind of a short period of time from what I've heard, but I can't say I know him as well as Bowe or Lloyd, but I got to know him better and better the last 5 or 6 years, and my heart goes out to his family, and I know it was a tough, especially the last 8, 10 months have been tough, and I did get a chance to talk to him a while ago. I was supposed to be involved in a golf outing with him, and COVID kind of hurt that a little bit, but Frank Beckman's one of those guys, you say Frank Beckman and everybody knows who Frank Beckman is, because he was a radio personality that I thought did his homework. I thought he was very well educated on what to do, and I thought he was a great guy. I don't know how long he was with WJR, but it was a long time, I believe. 48 years? That's a real long time. I know he was retired, and I think they'll miss him. His family will miss him. But even guys like me will miss him. He had one of those voices that when you heard him on the radio, you knew who it was. And so I'll miss Frank Beckman, and my sympathy goes out to his family and all the people at JR.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
See you down there.